Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. All right, so I got Bitcoin up here, and we have not moved too much since yesterday. Yesterday, we were trading at 27,500 per BTC, and if I were to put another price label on here, you can see we're only about $200 higher than yesterday's price, so not too much movement for the king cryptocurrency. I mean, up a little bit, but today ultimately is looking like a red day so far. Overall, the crypto space hasn't moved too much. We've got Bitcoin up 0.71%. Oh, I'll just change to 0.74. Ethereum is down roughly 0.32%. We got BNB coin up 0.15. XRP down 1.87. And it's looking as though CoinMarketCap has added a new feature to their website here, showing you guys what cryptocurrencies are currently trending. Which one's a top gainer? TON coin here, 2.6%. So even though it's a top gainer, as per CoinMarketCap's new metric here, we're still not seeing huge gains. 2.6% is nothing once we start seeing those bulls run. Market cap is up slightly, $1.09 trillion. We got 24-hour volume down, but Bitcoin dominance still holding on. So Bitcoin still, the leader of the pack. And it's got to really move before we see the rest of this market move. Let's take a look at XRP real quickly here. XRP down a little bit. Today, we're down to about 52.4, so 0.524. And guys, I got to say, I mean, arguably, this is probably the most boring time in crypto, at least in the bear market of 2022. We could continuously commiserate around our cryptocurrencies moving down in tandem. And, for 2023, it's basically just been a wait and see period, moving sideways for a lot of it. There was some optimism at the beginning of the year when the market was moving up. But, this is par for the course. And, I got to remember this from 2019. It's hard to forget. I was doing this show back in 2019, and it was a fairly new, the channel was fairly new to me at that time. So I wasn't really appreciating the point in the crypto cycle that we were in 2019, because I was learning about not just crypto, but how to do a YouTube channel, research for content, and all that stuff too. So I couldn't really, I'm going to look back and say I didn't really appreciate 2019 as much as I do now. And so Rec Capital points this out. Okay, you can debate whether 2023 is more like 2015 or like 2019 as much as you like. It doesn't change the fact, though, that Bitcoin retraced 24% in 2015 and 38% in 2019 at the same point in the cycle, guys. We are about 200 days before the halving event. And so what he's saying here is that, we could still retrace. Similar to 2019, we saw it in 2015, 200 days roughly, give or take, before the halving. Let me bring up Bitcoin again, and let me zoom out here. So actually, let's look at that first. The halving is happening in and around, they're predicting it to be April 25th, give or take. So that would bring us 200 days, roughly would bring us in and around April 22nd. You guys can see that down there. And so what happened before? What happened in 2019? Well, I showed this on the chart yesterday. 2019 did see this from the summer onward until December 2019, which was down in and around here. And it wasn't until January 2020 when we started to see that optimism again in the market. Of course, the beer flu shut down. This was the Black Swan event. So I'm hoping we won't see a repeat of that, considering it was an anomaly. But guys, ultimately, a downtrend, a negative moving channel, moving downward, lower lows, lower highs, an accumulation phase for myself and my patrons. Guys, I just posted the roundup, my portfolio, kind of getting my ducks in a row. So for my patrons, if you haven't checked it out yet, part one of my $10,000 cryptocurrency portfolio roundup is up on patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. And for those of you guys interested in joining, it is only $5 a month. I'm going to be posting all my trades, my thoughts on these, I don't know, how shall we put it, out of the box cryptocurrencies that I'm trading. I'm going to be trading on the BITRUE exchange, but a lot of these cryptocurrencies you can find on other exchanges as well. So, depending on where in the world you are, you can follow me on my trading journey this time around. Again, that's patreon.com/workingmoneychannel, all one word. And again, I think we still have some time to accumulate, guys. So if we do see, this repeat, as Rec Capital said, we did see the market go down 24 and 38% respectively in 2015 and 2019. Well, I mean, that just means more bearish activity awakes us. The blockchain backer here posted this. Now, with regards to the news the other day, it's funny, and I didn't really touch on this in yesterday's videos, but it's funny how the mainstream media is framing the interlocutory denial by Judge Annalisa Torres and the inadvertent victory for Ripple. So blockchain backer here says, finally, a financial media outlet acknowledging the blow the SEC took versus Ripple and XRP yesterday. And guys, it's none other than Yahoo Finance. U.S. judge denies SEC's attempt to appeal the Ripple ruling. And so I'm not going to read this article to you, but I will leave it in the description of the video, just showing you how different news outlets are framing this. And I mean, is it any coincidence that Brad Garlinghouse did used to work for Yahoo? And Yacine Mobarak's prediction, guys, on the rest of the SEC lawsuit. The SEC will withdraw charges against Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. Interesting concept here. It is not in their interest to have a trial where their corruption can be exposed, not to mention their agenda is far bigger than just these two executives. Well, that's true. The longer XRP solidifies the clarity it has in the marketplace, the more that puts the entire agenda at risk. They will now move to end this case as soon as possible so they can appeal to the Second Circuit and continue to sustain this cloud of uncertainty on the whole industry. Litigation by itself, regardless of the outcome, is a weapon. So Yacine Mobarak mentioning that, Michael Branch posting this with regards to Sherry and her opinion on this. She actually thinks the opposite here, okay? Influential Voice predicts no settlement in the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, deems the case as political. So Sherry is saying the SEC is not going to back down. She does not expect the SEC to settle with Ripple, as she believes the lawsuit is more political than about prosecuting. Yesterday, the court ordered that prior to the pretrial conference scheduled for April 16th, 2024, the SEC and Ripple shall hold a settlement discussion for at least an hour. So yesterday we did talk about the fact that they are scheduled for settlement, or at least a discussion. Following the order, several XRP enthusiasts have been speculating that a settlement in the SEC versus Ripple case could be on the horizon. However, prominent XRP influencer Sherry does not believe a settlement will happen in the case. She does believe that this is more political than it is legal, I guess. And so Sherry did post here underneath Yacine Mobarak's tweet, to be honest, I would be surprised if the SEC dropped charges against the individual defendants without some incentive from Ripple given to them. The only types of cases I've heard the SEC withdrawing are violations made by data protections that were meant to be in place. RDS down here responds, is the incentive for fast forwarding the Ripple case not good enough? Especially when odds of gaining anything meaningful from the action against executives is not going to yield much. And even if it does, it can be appealed. And whatever the results be, Gary Gensler will not be around by then due to elections. So unless he is overtly confident about the second term as SEC chair, no doubt he will not be letting the executives go off the hook. But if his masters wants him to do it to damage Ripple more, the puppet will not really have a choice. To be honest, I will be happier at this stage if the SEC does not withdraw the case, and that way XRP will have clarity for yet another year before appeal, and it will increase the odds of having a pump in the next bull run. Well, we already talked about this in yesterday's video. XRP has clarity for a while to come, even at the worst case scenario. Sherry says, let me ask you this. Why would the SEC want to fast forward the case? If they really wanted to, they could have filed Rule 54B, which is a request for partial final judgment. So Sherry, not necessarily on board. She thinks it is political, and she thinks that it will be dragged on for longer. Well, we've also got John Deaton coming out, predicting the SEC's biggest loss yet to come. So in terms of the Ripple SEC suit, well, he's got a different opinion about that. I guess first I should probably play this clip here. John Deaton on the Digital Perspective Show gives his opinion on SEC settlement much more likely than the case going to trial. Listen to this.
The SEC lawyers, right, the enforcement lawyers, they can own and trade XRP all the way up to 2019. But Brad is reckless in not knowing that XRP is a security in 2015. Like, right? Do we really think that a jury is going to believe that they were reckless? No, of course not. And so all the leverage is gone for the, right? The leverage the SEC has right now, Brad, is this. They do have a judgment, a summary judgment ruling for a significant amount of money on paper, 700 million in institutional sales. Now, Ripple can challenge that, and in a remedies hearing, they can say, look, judge, ODL should be excluded from this period to this period, and judge, that represents half. I'm just picking these numbers out of my, thin air. And now they've reduced it to 300-400 million. And then they say, well, you need to reduce these other legitimate expenses. And then maybe they can get it down to $200 million, right? The SEC's leverage is, as of right now, it's 700 million. Ripple's leverage is, let's go to trial. You're going to waste more money, and then we're going to appeal certain things if you appeal it and tie them up more, or we're willing to come to the table and write a check if you say you're not appealing it, XRP is not a security. We can sell to institutions moving forward without you worrying about us and without you prosecuting us in the future, and we're going to IPO. And if you agree to all that, SEC, here's a check. Now, you and I could pick what number that is. I don't know. Is it 100 million? Is it 500 million? Is it 200 million? But I can tell you this, if it's a couple hundred million, Gary Gensler would be able to get on TV and say, I held Ripple responsible, and I helped secure one of the highest settlements in SEC history at hundreds of million, whatever it is. And he could get a victory, at least publicly. All of us in crypto world would know that it's not really a victory, but the public wouldn't know that.
So did you hear what John Deaton said at the end there? Gary Gensler could, in fact, get that public victory. And, that at the end of the day, I think is what's going to be important, the optics for Gary Gensler and the SEC. Even if us in crypto world, as John Deaton states here, know that it is complete BS. So wanted to thank Brad Kimes and John Deaton for that. The other thing that that we have to remember too is that the SEC has a lot on their plate. The Coinbase lawsuit too, which John Deaton predicts this will be the SEC's biggest loss to come. So another one from Michael Branch here. Pro XRP lawyer John Deaton predicts SEC's biggest loss is yet to come with this Coinbase lawsuit, guys. He took to Twitter to express his thoughts on the SEC's recent motion against Coinbase. He remarked that before the SEC filed its opposition to Coinbase's motion to dismiss, he placed the odds on Coinbase at winning at 40%. So he thought Coinbase actually had less of a chance of winning than the SEC. He added that this is an extraordinarily high percentage for a victory on a motion to dismiss. Deaton noted that typically the likelihood for victory in such motions wouldn't exceed 10%. But guys, now he's changing his tune. After reading the SEC opposition, the odds have improved in Coinbase's favor and stands at least 50%. The SEC's opposition is lacking in the most important area of all, which is the law. And he was drawing comparisons to his earlier predictions regarding Ripple's legal battles. Deaton said, I confidently predicted the XRP summary judgment on live TV on Fox Business with Liz Clayman and Charles Gasparino, and I practically guarantee Judge Torres would deny the SEC's request for an interlocutory appeal, which he did, to his credit. However, he also cautioned that this current Coinbase decision is more intricate than the Ripple case, highlighting the unpredictable nature. Despite that, Deaton concluded, I believe Judge Fela could hand down the biggest loss to the SEC to date. So, I mean, we got to look at everything kind of as a whole here. If the SEC can, in fact, optically at least look like they won against Ripple, because chances are they're going to lose against Coinbase, well, that is a net win probably, or at least even one loss, one win in the crypto world for the SEC. So optically, even though it's really two big losses, optically it would still look favorable for the SEC, and that is, it's a game of politics. So kind of just back to what Sherry was saying over here. Even though we might not agree with her outcome, or I don't know, maybe some of you agree with her possible outcome here, but at the end of the day, it is all politics. And so, it's going to be about the optics. Wanted to thank John Deaton, Sherry, Michael Branch here, and everybody else who contributed to this. Now, positive news, guys, XRP is gaining more traction, and I've noticed it's through one player, okay? One player who is partnered with these big companies that we've been talking about. So the latest one here, guys, Chase Bank is now accepting XRP amongst other cryptocurrencies for mortgage payments. Embrace the future of finance and pay for your home with digital assets is coming from XRPayNet. On Twitter now, Chase Bank has partnered with FCF Pay to accept cryptocurrency for financial services. I keep seeing FCF Pay everywhere, or at least just within the last few days. We've seen this company really kind of ramp up with regards to crypto payments, but also highlighting XRP payments specifically. So Chase Bank is a subsidiary of JP Morgan with $2.6 trillion in assets and 5,000 branches worldwide. They just recently announced their collaboration with FCF Pay, a Canadian crypto payment entity, Yesterday, I don't know if you guys remember, but we were talking about Mercedes-Benz and the Honda collaboration with FCF Pay and accepting XRP for payments. This strategic alliance will enable the bank to accept cryptocurrencies, including XRP, SHIB, Doge, BTC, and Ethereum for mortgage, credit card, and loan repayments. This move comes as FCF Pay expands its operations to Idaho and Utah in the United States. The expansion includes the integration of broadband payments via more than 30 cryptocurrencies into FCF Pay's Pay Bills service, aiming to streamline financial management for its users. So yet another company, in this case a big bank, Chase Bank, a subsidiary of JP Morgan, also using FCF Pay in order to facilitate cryptocurrency payments, including XRP payments. So some great news there. Wanted to thank XRPayNet for posting that. And another one too, guys, from Wheezy at Nerd Nation Unboxed. Now, miners can pay electricity bills with Shiba Inu and XRP. So, again, the central platform here, guys, FCF Pay, again, has announced a new offering that allows Bitcoin miners to pay their electricity bills using crypto assets, including Shiba Inu and XRP. So, a lot of announcements here from FCF Pay. As I noted, it didn't really hit me until today. It's like there's Honda, there's Mercedes. I think there was another one too from yesterday or the day before. And then today we're getting hit with Chase Bank and now paying your electricity in cryptocurrencies like XRP through FCF Pay. So in an X post, they did just announce that customers, especially crypto miners, can pay their electricity bills directly with crypto, which kind of makes sense. If you're a Bitcoin miner, obviously, wouldn't it be beneficial? Wouldn't it be convenient if you could pay your electricity bills in Bitcoin? Pay your electricity bills directly with Bitcoin. They also accept Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, and many others. So guys, here's the tweet to that effect, and I guess I should say post, because I know now it's called the X platform, no longer Twitter, but it's so hard to get, once it's stamped in your brain, you've been saying it for so long, I keep calling it Twitter, excuse me, but it is the X platform, and I probably will keep calling it Twitter for a little while to come. Anyway, that's what's happening. Some more great news promoting not just XRP integration, but integration, payment integration with other cryptocurrencies for these fairly big companies. I mean, major auto manufacturers and what was this one? This was the miners. And then there was, Chase Bank, a subsidiary of JP Morgan. So crypto adoption, guys, if we can get it through, these secondary providers, partnering up with these major institutions, these major brands to facilitate more payments through cryptocurrency, guys, this is how adoption is really going to eventually take off. Now, speaking of JP Morgan, apparently they were caught with a patent infringement claim by Identitii. Now, if you guys remember, Identitii does have a tie, including a Ripple XRP patent that lines up with Swift ISO 20022. I recently, not so recently, this is actually my Patreon where I posted that video. I just did a quick search on Google to refresh my memory. And so Identitii had that Ripple patent from at least from a few months ago. At least that's when we discovered it. And now they're claiming patent right infringement. Okay, guys? This is a clip directly from Identitii, courtesy of Sentosumo Saba here on Twitter. Listen to this.
We've made it public that our patent for an idea that uses blockchain and tokens to send and receive very rich payment information around the world has the ability to connect both old and new payment networks around the world. So for the transmission of payment messages, we could be connecting members of the Swift network with members of the Ripple network. And I think that late in August, we submitted some additional claims to the US Patent Office, and that received some really keen interest from investors around the world.
So do you think it's only a matter of time then that more investors grasp the story and the potential?
We released a new investor presentation yesterday, which I think does a much greater job of explaining in detail that framework that I talked to you about before in terms of what are we doing now, what's on the horizon for us next, and then what does our long-term strategy look like. And we have connected all of the dots between our United States patent reporting to regulators and some of the longer term strategies of the business. And, I think it tells a really neat story about some potential significant long-term benefits for the company.
Okay, so you heard it there, that patent that connects RippleNet, Swift Network, Identitii working with both to, obviously streamline payments and make that smooth connection, that smooth transition. Crypto Eddie here says, though, looking back to August of 2019, patent sleuth King Solomon found that the Australian company Identitii identified using Ripple member network XRP and the XRPL as a settlement layer with the Swift messaging standards originally filed in 2016. So from the patent settlement, a gateway of payer banks sends by the way of non-limiting example XRP, the native currency of the Ripple protocol, to Billers Bank Gateway. Payers Bank Gateway notifies tokens notifies the token database 1023 of receipt. And so you guys can see the patent here. I will link this tweet in the description of the video, and you can click on that for the patent. Identitii helps the global financial service industry collect and share sensitive data, accelerate cross-border payments, manage and exchange of customer data, reduce manual exceptions, and streamline and automate regulatory reporting. So that is what Identitii does. And now, guys, they file for a patent infringement claim against JP Morgan Chase for this patent. So is JP Morgan realizing, well, Ethereum just isn't going to cut it. We need to find something better, something that actually works. The real Internet of Value, leveraging RippleNet. So here's the claim, guys. Today, they filed a claim against JP Morgan Chase for U.S. patent number 10,984,413. The claim has been filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Delaware. Just give some more details down here. Identitii has engaged this particular law firm for the lawsuit. Management remains wholly focused on executing the company's core strategy of helping the global financial industry collect and share sensitive data to accelerate cross-border payments, manage an exchange of customer data, reduce manual exceptions, and streamline and automate regulatory reporting. Pursuing the patent infringement claim is not expected to disrupt core strategy progress. However, it certainly doesn't look right, considering we do know that this Identitii patent, here's the video here, guys, which I will link up here in the top right-hand corner. This patent here, guys, does in fact include Ripple's XRP, lines up with the Swift ISO 20022 standard. Again, a video from 2 years ago outlining this fact here. I mean, fast forward to 2023, and, even JP Morgan has gone on the record saying, we were kind of hoping that Ethereum would be further along by now. Remember when they said this just a few short weeks ago? Ethereum Shanghai upgrade has been disappointing, says JP Morgan. So are they trying to steal RippleNet technology through Identitii? Things that make you go, just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.